Hello and welcome to Walking Bible. Today I'm standing in a prison cell, but it's really a museum. It used to be one of Sweden's largest prisons during 100 years, but it closed in the 1970s and is now a museum, a hotel, a hostel and a restaurant. I'm here because I want to remind you that Jesus came to set us free. When Jesus visited Nazareth, he went to the synagogue and he sat down, opened the scroll of Isaiah and read from chapter 61. This is what he read. Verse 1. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners. Jesus said that this was about him, that in their hearing this was fulfilled. Jesus came to set the captives free. He came to bind up the brokenhearted. He came to bring light into the darkness and release all the prisoners. We are all captives to sin, and Satan is the prison guard, the prison warden. But Jesus came to set us free. His death on the cross opened the prison door for us so that we could come out in freedom. Jesus wants to remove the shackles of sin from our feet so that we can dance before God. He wants to free us from the chains that binds us so that we can lift our hands in worship. In Galatians chapter 5 verse 1 we read, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." The Apostle Paul says in several of his letters that we need to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. The thing is that we need to change negative thought patterns. Negative thought patterns can hold us in bondage even though we've been set free by Jesus. Life has many challenges, and we might even feel depressed, and we might feel pain, anguish, fear and lack of hope. It may feel that darkness closes in and that there is no way out, that you are like in prison. But the good news is that Jesus is the light of the world, and he wants to come into that darkness, and he wants to spread that light, and he wants to give you hope for the future and joy, and transform your mind by the power of the Holy Spirit so that you will move into the future with hope. Sometimes we need professional help by psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, counselors, maybe even medicine. But that's all right. We should receive all the help we can get to live in the freedom that Jesus has given. Then we can say goodbye to negative feelings and welcome positive feelings. We can say goodbye to negative thought patterns and instead think positively. We can say goodbye to hopelessness and say welcome to hope and joy. Another thing that might limit your freedom is bad self-esteem. That may hinder you to move out into everything that God has for you, everything that He has prepared for you, and everything He wants you to experience. You should never put yourself down, and you should never let anybody else do that. Instead, you should listen to who you are in Jesus. You are a beloved child of God. You are the apple of His eye. You are so valuable in His sight. Not only has Jesus set you free, He wants you to continue to live in that freedom, to remain in that freedom. Don't ever go back to those prisons again. Never go back to bad self-esteem, to worry, to fear, to shame, to disappointments, but live in the freedom God has given you. And welcome love, hope and joy and peace of mind. You can also be held captive by unforgiveness. We are called to forgive those who hurt us, who offend us. Jesus calls us to love even our enemies and to do good to those who persecute us. When we forgive the way God forgave us in Jesus, freely and generously, and not wait for others to ask forgiveness, but to forgive anyway, we are free from that bondage. And not only are we to forgive others the way God forgave us, we are also to forgive ourselves. Because God has forgiven you, so you have to forgive yourself also, and receive God's forgiveness and move out into the freedom. Freedom from bondage that unforgiveness can bring. So then, how do we remain in this freedom that Christ has given us? We focus on Jesus. Instead of focusing on ourselves, on our emotions, on what others say about us or do to us, we listen to Jesus. We focus on Him. This is how God mends broken hearts and sets us free. We should always come to Jesus with all our fears, all our anxieties, and pour them out at the cross. When we do that, they lose the power over us. And Jesus can give us peace of mind, joy, hope for the future. At His cross, at the foot of His cross, we can receive healing for our body, soul and mind, a total healing. So receive His freedom, receive His healing and remain in it. In order for you to remember what Jesus has done for you, that He has set you free and that He wants you to remain in His freedom, it might be a good idea to memorize Isaiah 61 verse 1. In order to make it easy for you to learn it by heart, we put it to music. So welcome to His freedom. God bless you and hope to see you soon. Bye.
Isaiah 61 verse 1. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me.